Hello, dreamers. This podcast is for you. Dreams do come true.
It's never too late to get started, and that's what I want this podcast to be about for you. To lift you up, give you encouragement, and know that your dreams are not dead. They're still there. If you have that inside of you, it's meant for you to do it. You have just got to take the first step. You can't just keep sitting on it. I know I'm one of those dreamers, and we're going to make our dreams come true. So I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited to get started, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited to be here with you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on my podcast, Dreams Do Come True. This is Lisa Mitz, and you won the Female Songwriter of the Year bronze, and I'm so excited to get to talk to you. You look like an international traveler from what I've read about your background.
Oh my gosh. I know. It's true. Thank you, Pam. I'm thrilled to be here with you.
I'm so excited too. Well, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and just your journey, you know, how you got to where you're at, and your genre is inspirational gospel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'd love to hear how you got started, you know, and in your music career.
Great. Well, I was basically raised on the piano from the time I was 6, and always around music. My parents were very much into opera and theater, and so that was pretty much my childhood, you know, always in school plays and in choir and playing piano and recitals. And so by the time I got to be in college, I entered in as a piano major, classical piano major at the University of Florida. But after a year, I decided, you know, I don't really want to be a classical pianist, and got tired of sitting in a room practicing all day. And then went on to switch my major, and I finished as a broadcasting production major, in fact, in radio and so in television. And I did that for a little while, but then after I got married and had 4 kids, and, you know, life kind of has its way of trusting God in that time, of leading my path. And I put my music really on hold till my youngest was pretty much about 10 years old, and we had just moved back from Israel. We had lived there for 4.5 years, and when we got back, that's when I really started. I had already been writing music for quite a while because of we had started a ministry, but I really started devoting myself professionally to it in 2010.
Amazing. So when you say devoting yourself to music, like how many hours a week or day did you spend on music?
Well, I mean, I think the way it worked was that I went from it being just something that I did because I loved it to something that I did where my goal was to actually become a recording artist. So I started recording professionally. And of course, you know, that means that there were seasons. Sometimes I would lead worship, and to me, that wasn't really work. That was more like, you know, a passion of my heart. But then when I started to really devote myself to writing better songs, recording professionally, working with producers and other musicians, and then a lot of my music, I was able to, especially with my 3rd album, in 2011, it was a turning point for me because I recorded an album that had rock and R&B, all original songs, but I got to work with a guy named Alan Stone, who has since become very well known. I mean, he opens up for major bands. He's written songs for American Idol contestants. And so a lot of my songs, even though it was a rock, R&B, gospel on that album, they could be performed in coffee bars and festivals, outdoor, you know, things like that, concerts. So that was a turning point where I really started to actively seek out performing opportunities and put a band together. And so from 2012 on, after I released that album at the end of 2011, starting in 2012, I really focused on becoming an artist in that regard.
So inspiring. I just love that. I mean,
Awesome.
Traveling to Israel and then coming back and having your family. I mean, you just had it all going. were there struggles at some point that you had to overcome, to either just keep going with your family life or your music? What was your driving force?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, when you have kids, and my husband had a practice, he's an integrative healthcare practitioner, and he's also a pastor, and we started at the same time that I was working on that third album and then going into my fourth album in 2013-14. We started a foundation for survivors of sex trafficking here out of one of my songs that was put to a music video and earned Best Music Video at the Awareness Film Festival in Los Angeles in
Excellent.
2015. And so I would say what became a driving force for me was that I wanted to get better each project. I got that advice a couple of times from different producers, and I think that's such wisdom that, we always want to grow from album to album or single to single. We want to get better as a musician. We want to challenge ourselves. So that was a driving force, but also a lot of the inspiration behind my music became a driving force to make people aware of the reality of human trafficking right here in the United States, because we always kind of think of it, as something out of this country, but it actually is extremely prevalent and the number 2 crime in America.
Yes.
So I actually devote a portion of my profits to that foundation that we started. That I don't get to always talk about that at every performance, but I always make that available through information, and people can take that home with them to know.
That's amazing. And yes, it is a big, and I know I live in Georgia, and Atlanta is supposedly one of the biggest hubs for that, and it's just horrible that the day and age that we live in, that we have to fight against that. But
yeah, it's true.
It's good. You have this foundation. That's so wonderful that you're helping so many people.
Thank you. Yeah.
So currently, are you working on any passion projects or anything new coming out soon?
Oh, yes. I am so, sometimes I feel like I just need a nap. Oh my gosh.
Just refresh me, right?
Yeah, it's just been a whirlwind. I mean, I'm really excited, but between having come back, I think August has been just a blur between coming back from the ISAAH Awards, and then we've been out of town for all kinds of things, and I've got performances on weekends and a new project that's about to come out in October. I'm finishing up. I've done a piano instrumental. My first one was called Heart Songs, and it was received so well that I've had people literally write me, like multiple people saying, "Are you going to do another piano instrumental? I love this. It like calms me down." I think
Aww.
there's people are stressed today.
Yeah, they are.
So piano instrumental music has really grown. So I'm finishing that up, working with an amazing, wonderful producer out of Boston who did my first instrumental album, Kenny Lewis, and he has worked with like giants in the field. And I'm very blessed to be working with him. And then I have 2 singles. I'll be going into the studio, brand new singles in October, working again with 2 great producers here in the Seattle area.
So exciting. Yeah, that's very exciting.
Thank you. And then we've got the Josie Music Awards coming up too in September. So I'm very excited.
So you're nominated. Are you coming to that?
Yeah, I'm nominated in 5 categories, and I'm just praying. My music video is up for my brand new music video called "To Be Loved" is one of the nominations. So we'll see. I'm excited about that. But
congratulations.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be with so many there's so many incredible artists. You kind of feel like, wow, God, okay. I mean, you have to just kind of stick to what you're called to and know that just to be included is such an honor.
Yes, and I'm very honored that you were able to talk with me tonight. And I'm going to be at the Josie Music Awards, so hopefully I'll get to meet you.
Yay! Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I'm so
yeah,
excited.
we'll have to get a selfie together so we can put it on.
Yes, definitely. That's so cool. I didn't know that. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so excited too for you guys. I really am.
Oh.
So, what inspires you? I mean, like I know I'm thinking you're living in Seattle, out in nature. I've been to Seattle, and
Mm,
I love it up there.
yes.
So, what inspires you? I mean, where do you get like your song inspiration? Is it a being out in nature or a podcast you listen to, or do you have a specific mentor?
That's such a good question. I would say a lot of what inspires me are life experiences that I've gone through or going through. A lot of my own personal story has been one of being overcoming a lot of trauma and receiving a lot of healing from God's love.
Mhm.
And so I try to, in my music, initially my first couple albums were really focused on praise and worship because that was my foundation as a worship leader. In the latter years, I've really tried to write songs out of just being relatable to other people in struggles that they've gone through, needing healing and from fear, anxiety, knowing that you're loved just for who you are, that you don't have to be anybody else to trust God's love in that place, and to really be a bridge, because I think there's so many people today who have been so hurt by religion, and they need to know the reality of a loving God. And that's really the message of my songs, whether that's a country song or that's an inspirational song, a rock song. That's really what inspires me. So my to give you a specific example too, one of my new singles that I'll be recording is called The Breakthrough. And it's really about not getting discouraged because it's so easy to, when you're
Mhm.
really striving for something. And it is true, it's always darkest before the dawn. In fact, that's one of the lines in the song. And I think if we can just remember to hold on and to keep pressing through, that is the place of the breakthrough. And so many times people give up. So that's an example of one of the things that inspires me.
I love it. That is so amazing. So, do you want to share, like, maybe one breakthrough that you've had in your life? I guess put you in a spot where, because I know for myself, when you're at those moments, it's the time you
Hmm.
really need to write. So, is there one
Yes.
particular time that a breakthrough really puts you in your, inspirational zone?
Yeah. I've probably had a few, but the one that comes to me the most is, I remember so clearly going to it was like a coffee shop, not a shop, like a coffee bistro where, they had like nice food and coffee and wine and beautiful setting. It was overlooking Mount Rainier on a summer's evening. They had a
Yeah.
fireplace inside, and my husband and I were out on a date night, and there was a guy playing guitar and singing on the deck there where they would have musicians. And this was just like, I want to say probably 2.5, 3 years ago
Mm.
at the most, maybe less. But anyway, I remember thinking, that would be so cool, like if I could do that here, because I had been performing a little bit here and there. I'd recorded several albums, but I hadn't gotten to like a big enough place in my mind that I thought, oh, this would be like a really step up. And within a year, I was performing there. The most amazing thing is, I thought, now I don't even perform there anymore, because it's like, it was great, but it was like I had bigger dreams, and God just kept saying to me, hey, trust me for the bigger thing. And now I'm playing in places that I never would have dreamed. I mean, I would have dreamed, but it was like more like a wish,
Hmm.
and so I think what it was is, I really believe this, that when you can envision it in your heart, And for me, it's like those secret desires that my heart that you're almost afraid to tell anybody, except maybe your husband or somebody trusted that can really agree with you. But God knows those. And so now I'm finding myself pinching myself going, wow, this is so cool. And I have not arrived by any means. I'm just like amazed at where I've come from. And I think that's the breakthrough. And that's what was one of the inspirations behind that song was right before that, even a year or 2 years ago, I was wondering, is this ever going to happen? Because I mean, I am not in my 20s or 30s anymore. And so, you begin to wonder, like, is this ever going to happen? So, yeah.
Well, that's such a blessing that you didn't quit. I did listen to some of your songs, and you have such a beautiful tone, a beautiful voice, and of course you know how to play the instruments, and I would love to hear your instrumental. I'm going to go look that up, that Heart Songs, because I play the piano. Actually, I just did a little tune the other day, and I thought this would be a good instrumental. It's so funny you said that you do that.
Oh, yes, you need to do it. Yes,
yeah.
That's
how it
great.
just comes to you, like you wake up, you've got that tune. I'm like, is this something that I've heard, or is it something new? I just love that, and it sounds like you're really in that zone. Well, I'm so happy for you, and I'm happy that you won your award, and it sounds like you are on track, and all the good things are coming. The International Singer-Songwriter. I mean, how long have you been a member of ISAAH?
I just joined ISAAH. In fact, it's so funny because when I got my award, I thought ISAAH had been around for a long time, for a couple of years. I didn't realize that was the first.
Yes.
So I
Isn't
was
that amazing?
It was just amazing to me. And so I joined probably shortly after, I want to say maybe in January, and then I submitted my music. Yeah. And so, no, it's such an honor. And, I guess one of the things that you realize as you are an artist, and you probably know this being a musician, but it really is good to surround yourself with other musicians and other artists who have dreams and visions of bringing their music out, because it's like iron sharpening iron. It makes you better. And we all have struggles. I mean, I've gone through so many struggles, but the focus is to use those struggles to get better every day. Yeah, so that's really that. I'm very blessed with ICE to be part of ISAAH, and Tammany, and just everybody. It's so great.
Yes, that is so inspiring. And what happens to us does happen for us.
Yes.
So, and everybody is using that, and everybody is just so humble. And it was just such an honor to interview the people I have and to create the podcast. I thought after listening, I've got to create, a platform for them to get their story out, because I feel like you have a deeper story. We're just on the surface of your story. But
I do. I have a pretty, some people know they read my story and they go, what that, but you know what, listen, I know this, everybody has a story. Everybody, it's very rare that you get somebody that just sails through life. I think if you don't have any kind of struggle, if you haven't had to overcome some real, challenging things, you can't really appreciate as much all the blessings. And that's just my opinion. But having walked through some very dark and fearful situation, it's so wonderful to come to look at that and go, gosh, that's not what defines me anymore. I'm real excited to be able to impart that, hopefully through my music.
Definitely. I mean, and when you go through those experiences, you can relate to people and show them, how you overcame, and they can overcome as well, because you've been there, you've been through that situation. So is there a last word of encouragement that you would like to share with someone going through maybe a struggle that you went through, to just give them encouragement?
Today, there's many issues that can be really, what was I thinking? The word is like gripping us with fear. There may be people listening who have encountered, like me, I had a real life and death experience where, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to face tomorrow. There may be others who have lost someone, that you just don't know how you can even go on without that person, that loved one, or you may just be someone who feels discouraged. Maybe you're another artist, a musician, maybe you're just a mom or a dad, or you're dealing with, you're not sure how financially you're going to make it even tomorrow or next week. And I just want to encourage you, first of all, that I know just my own experience that God is always there. He will never leave you, and always just cry out to him. But the second thing is to recognize that you have a unique quality. You have a unique gift that only you have, that you've been born really designed with. And I encourage you. Yeah. And I just encourage every listener to draw upon that. And like you said, Pam, a lot of times our biggest struggles will actually end up becoming the actual path to help others and to be our breakthrough in that.
Yes.
So
inspiring. I'm so glad I got to talk to you. Now, where can people find your music?
Oh, thank you. So you can find my music anywhere online. My music is all distributed through CD Baby, and they distribute, of course, through iTunes, Spotify, everywhere. I have a YouTube channel, Lisa Mitz Music. I also have a website, lisamitz.com, which, pretty much has everything. And of course, social media. I love following everybody back. And so if you follow me, I'll just write me, let me know, and I'll follow you back.
Okay. So. That is so wonderful. Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm so happy for your awards and your nominations at the Josie Awards. I wish you the best of luck there. And thank you so much for taking your time today to speak with me.
Thank you, Pam. And I'll get to meet you soon. Yay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Lisa Mitz, everyone. She's making her dreams come true. She's an overcomer. She's a mother. She's full-time into her music and the wife of a minister. She is going to do great things, and I can't wait to see what other dreams are coming true for Lisa.